Guys, good afternoon and good morning. I hope you're able to watch this video before we start class on Monday, October 19th. I'm just going to go over how to make a box plot on your calculator and also how to find a 5-number summary. If you don't have a TI84plus, your functionality might be a little bit different, but I think you can figure it out. If you can't, let me know. Okay? We're going to be using number 13 on page 92. This was on your assignment was due on Friday at 3:10. Okay? So some of you may have answered number 13 on your own, but this is a mathematical way of proving something is an outlier or not. Okay? All right. So in your textbook, it shows you how to do this on page 86, but I'm just going to walk you through the different steps. Okay? So first thing you need to do is you need to input the data. You need to turn on your calculator and hit Stat, and then go to Edit. Hit Enter for Edit, or hit the number 1. And then L1, really it's up to you where you want to, where you want to put in your list, but you can just use L1 because it's the first one. Okay. Once you put in your data, there are 10 values from this example about home runs by Roger Maris. Okay. Then you're going to hit second stat plot. Okay. And then you're going to choose one of the plots. Now you want to make sure that you have all the other plots turned off because you don't want to graph multiple graphs. You just want one right now. So hit Enter. You want to choose the box plot. If you look at the type, there are 2 types of box plots on here. There is one with the outliers, which are the little dots right here. It's this one right here. And then there's one without outliers. We always want to show outliers if there are outliers. Okay, so choose that one. Again, feel free to pause this video as we go to make sure you're able to do this with your calculator. Okay. And then you want to choose the correct list. I inputted my values into L1. If you didn't put in L1, you did L2, then make sure you put L2. The way you type on here, you would hit second, and then you see right above the 2 is the L2, so you could change that to L2. Okay, but I'm L1, so I'm gonna leave it as that. Frequency, just leave it as 1. And then the mark, this is the mark for your outliers. You choose whichever mark you want. I'm fine with the default. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to graph and hit graph. Okay, voila. Here's my box plot. Nope, wait a minute, where's my box plot? So what this is telling me is that we are either zoomed in too much or we're zoomed out too much, so we can't see the graph. So we go to this option, Zoom 9. So hit Zoom, and you can manually zoom in and zoom out, options number 2 and 3, or we go down to number 9, and you just hit Enter, or you can hit 9, okay? So again, let me do that again. So I can just go to Zoom and hit the number 9. Boom. Voila. There's my box plot now. Okay, try that on your own, please. Okay. So just some tips when you're doing this. Make sure your graph, you only have one thing graphed. If you clear out of here, to clear it out of something, you got to quit. So you just go second quit, or a lot of students, they just like to turn it off. They turn it off and then turn it on. Sure, I guess that works as well. If you hit y equals, if there's any type of graph in here, I don't know, let's do something like this, or sure, and you go to graph, you're gonna see some lines in there. Zoom 9. Okay. Other lines may appear, so what you wanna do is you wanna go here and make sure all this is clear. So there's nothing else in here. Okay, clear. Okay, that's the first tip. Also, when you go to second stat plot, make sure you only have one graph turned on. We talked about that. Make sure you correctly input your data. It's very easy to put in the wrong values here. Make sure you don't add an extra 0, or you don't add, like you don't merge 2 numbers together. Zoom 9 we talked about. And oh yes, this last one. Let's say you came here, you went to Stat, Edit, and you said, hey, wait a minute, I'm missing my L1 or I'm missing my L2. It's really easy to do that. what students may do is they may hit delete. If you hit delete, oh no, can you guys see? My L1 just disappeared. Okay, should you go return this calculator to the library and get a new one? Or buy a new one? Nah. You go to second, you go to the fifth option, okay? Stat, edit, the fifth option, setup editor, and it'll start blinking, just hit enter again. Boom, and if it's done, you're done. So let's go back and see if our list is there. Hey, what do you know? Our list is back. Okay, so those are just some hints right there. Our 5-number summary consists of these 5 values here. And let's first do this by hand, okay? So the minimum and the maximum, 8 and 61, okay? Those are easy. Let's find the median now. So median's a middle number. I like to use this super scientific method of just putting my finger on the minimum maximum and just moving in. Boom, 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 boom. So we know that the median has to be between the 23 and the 26. So it's gonna be the average. It's gonna be 23 plus 26 divided by 2. So 24.5. Okay, so split right here. Q1 is the middle number of the first half. So that would be 14. Okay. Q3 would be the middle number of the second half. So that would be 33. Okay. And with this, remember, you can also calculate your IQR. IQR is not part of the 5-number summary, but a lot of times you will need the IQR. So IQR is just Q3 minus Q1. Okay, that's 19. Let's just double check these values. You can do this on your calculator. You go to Stat, Calc. Okay, so I went to Stat and then move over to the right to Calc. And then you want to go to the first option. Number 1, it says 1 var stats. That stands for 1 variable statistic. So hit enter, and it'll ask you which list to use. Right now, we're only using 1 list, but later on, you may have more. So go to calculate, okay? And you look here, and it has our mean, right? It has our standard deviation. Standard deviation, you want to use the S sub x one, the S sub x one. You know that there's 10 values. You're saying, wait a minute, where are these values? Aha, here's a secret. So you scroll down, and it's right there. Okay, let's see. 8, 8, 14, 14, 24.5, 33, and 61. Hey, we did it, class. Now let's say we added a 200 right here. Okay, let's say we added a 200 to our distribution. So I'm gonna go back to Stat, Edit, and then I'm gonna scroll all the way to the bottom. And as my 11th value, because there are already 10 in there, I'm gonna add a 200. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to my graph. I'm gonna go back to plot 1. I'm gonna make sure that I have the box plot set. I'm using L1. I'm gonna graph, okay? Wait a minute, 200 definitely is an outlier, but my outlier is not showing up. Class, why is my outlier not showing up? This one right here, okay? Let's adjust the view. We're zoomed in or we're zoomed out too much. So I'm gonna go to zoom 9, and as you can see, our outlier is all the way over there, okay? And same thing, if you go into Stat, Calc, 1 var stats, all of our 5-number summary would change. Okay. Class, do you remember which values will change when you add an outlier? Okay, which ones are non-resistant to outliers? So that would be your mean and your range, right? So like our range, our maximum was 61, now it's 200, so it's gonna change a lot. So these are very, very highly affected by an outlier. Okay, thanks guys, see you Monday.